And I need to turn on my audio. Cool, cool, cool. So I can see myself on here. So go ahead, press that heart button if you're gonna be staying. I'm gonna put a little background music back here because I love the provider men that are saying, baby, I got you. We good. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. But let's are you kept, ladies, are you kept and covered? When you come in, do me a favor, press that heart button, say hello. I'm going to get started one way or the other because I am also live on YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel, Jamesia Johnai, the Wealth Creator. Sure, you hear the music playing in the background. So, trying to figure out why it's a delay. I like the men that say, you can do whatever you like. Hey. Are you kept and covered? I love to see the wives being kept, the girlfriends being kept. I love to see the wives being kept. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, I clear be looking at myself on you. So bad. Let me go back to just the Zoom. It looks like being on Zoom live on YouTube. I need not be watching on YouTube because there is a delay. Bam. I think I figured this out. Need to turn the sound off. Turn the sound off on my YouTube video. You come in, do me a favor, press the heart button, say hello, say good morning, engage. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, and whoever sees it here on TikTok will see it. I am also live on my YouTube channel, Jamesia Johnai, the Wealth Creator. I want to get right into this and talk about wives, are you kept and covered? That is the topic for today. If you are a wife, if you are a I meant to take my hair down. I look so teacher-ish with this bun. If you are a wife, a girlfriend, if you are in a situation where your significant other is the primary provider for you, you want to tune in and watch this. You want to press the share button and have other people tune in. If you know somebody that's a wife or a girlfriend that is provided for, you definitely want to have them tap into this video because while you might be kept, are you fully covered? And no, this is not a religious sermon, okay? There, we are not going religious this morning. That is not the goal. I'm going to try and align my phone with my laptop so that when I'm looking at one place, I'm looking at one thing, and then, of course, the phone comes in the camera. So when I'm looking at one place, I'm looking at one thing. Go ahead, press that like button, comment, engage, feel free. I am absolutely loving the baby, I can't pay the mortgage this month. And the husbands are like, and some of the boyfriends are like, when have you ever paid it? I don't need you to pay anything. I gotta. Some of the men were offended, right? I don't know if some of you, if you've seen the challenge, there is a challenge on TikTok wives telling their husbands they aren't going to be able to pay the mortgage, and most of the husbands are providers. Those women are kept, and the husbands are like, I don't need you to pay nothing. I absolutely don't need you to pay anything. I just need one husband told the wife, I just need you to pay attention, right? That's a beautiful thing. I just posted a video. You can go back and watch my TikTok. Come in, say hello, press the heart button. I promise you are going to want to stick around for this. I got some fire and some heat. I got some information for you. You even want to press the share button and share it with some people you know. But one of the husbands popped in. Well, I'm sorry. I was watching one this morning because I was up early this morning on TikTok. Don't judge me, judge your mama. But I was on TikTok. Go ahead, say hello, press that heart button. And the husband told the wife, you are provided for in life and in death. Okay? That has been my favorite one so far. Before that, my favorite one was the husband saying, you can't help with the mortgage. The house is paid for. It was a couple of husbands that said the house is paid for, which is a beautiful thing. But when that man said, you are provided for in life and death, I said, I need to make a video. I need to go live on TikTok to talk about this. You may be a kept woman, but you may not be a covered woman. And we are going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about it. I keep saying we like it's more than one person. I am going to talk about that this morning, and I'm going to show you how you can be kept and covered. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can be kept and covered. Go ahead, press that heart button. Go ahead, say hello, say something, especially if you're here. Even if you're not going to stay for the whole time, you probably should. But if you are not able to stay the entire time, you want to go ahead and be sure to check me out on YouTube. Check me out on YouTube, jamesiajohnai, the Wealth Creator, because the full video will be on YouTube. Are you currently kept and covered? Go ahead. There's a poll up there. You can answer the poll. Are you kept and covered? We're going to talk about it today. And if you are not staying for this whole live, you'll be able to see the whole video on YouTube. So, again, the husband prank challenge, one of the wives said, not the wife, the husband said, you are kept in life and you are provided for in life and you will be provided for in death. So the topic today is, are you kept and covered? You may be a kept wife, but you might not be a covered wife. And I'm going to go ahead and get into it because I'm going to be here for a good time, not a long time. I'm on YouTube as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, start sharing my screen. First thing I did, one of the things I did to prepare for this was I Googled the top 7 reasons people lose their homes to foreclosure. And what came up on Google from sources across the web, it says divorce, debt consolidation, medical bills, bad budgeting, death, disaster, job loss. So while you are a kept woman, would you still be kept if your husband lost his job? Would you still be kept if your husband prematurely passed away? Would you still be kept if you all ended up having medical bills? If your husband were to become ill or injured, would you be covered as a wife? And there's going to be a part 2 to this. There's going to be a part 2 to this. Kept and covered. You may be a kept wife, a kept girlfriend, but are you a covered wife and a covered girlfriend? Going to keep mentioning that. Go ahead, press that heart button, press the like button. If you cannot stay for the whole live, go check this out on my YouTube channel. You will be able to see the replay and the full thing on my YouTube channel. So let's talk about death of a spouse, like the death of the husband, or let's just say he becomes ill or injured and he can't go to work. He's on short-term disability. He might be on long-term disability. These are the things and the conversations that I have with people to prepare them. I am not here to bring doom and gloom. I'm here to bring reality. I have friends that I graduated from high school with. I am 44 years old. I have friends that have buried their husbands already in their 40s. They buried their husbands. I lost a friend in her 40s. I lost a love when he was in his 30s and I was in my 30s. He wasn't even 40 yet. I'm hearing about men in their 30s and their 40s having heart attacks, having strokes, just different things happening, right? So, with that being said, being a kept wife is great, but are we covered? How do we get covered? One of the main ways that we get covered is life insurance. And I want the wives and the girlfriends to be thinking about, if you're not working, you don't have an income, does your husband have adequate life insurance to make sure that if he passed away, you would still be covered in death? Like that man said, go watch the TikTok video. But that man told his wife, you good while I'm alive, and you're going to be good if I'm no longer here. Right. And I also want to make sure she's fully good while he's alive, because he may be thinking you're good while I'm alive because I'm going to work every day. I'm trading my time for money, but there are things that we can put in place if we get ill, if we get injured, to make sure that we're good, right? So I'm going to turn the volume up on my computer. If you're watching this on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see the video. And I may switch the screen so you can see it. Then I got to sit here and hold my camera, but you know, that ain't a big deal. But if you are on my YouTube channel, you're going to be able to see it. Take me to the link. Hold on. Yeah. I'm gonna just open it. Y'all gonna have to watch this commercial real quick. Marketing link. I should have embedded the video.
Rosary phone of life insurance.
And for the record, no, I am not with that company. If you are on the Zoom that popped up, I am not with that company that was there. You can absolutely connect with me. All of my contact information is in my link, it's in my bio. But living benefits, let me talk about that just a little bit more. Want to spend some time talking about that. If you're just coming in on TikTok, I'll do a recap. Thank you for anybody that pressed the heart button. Wives, girlfriends that are kept, meaning your husband provides, you don't have to worry about bills. That's great. We're talking about, are you covered? Just shared a video about living benefits and also shared some of the reasons why people end up losing their homes to foreclosure. One of them is death. The other one is medical bills, disability, things of that nature. So while the husband is providing because he's able to get up and work and do certain things, what if he became ill or injured, ended up on short-term disability, long-term disability? What happens to the family? And yes, as a woman, I know we can make things happen. We can get up and go to work and do things, but what if you had things in place just in case something happens? So I want to share a story. One of my business partners, he was building out our mentor's website. And building out our mentor's website, he sold himself on life insurance. So he got a life insurance policy and partnered in business as well, but went home and told his wife that he got the policy. And the wife was like, "That's stupid. You just created another bill. You've created another bill for us." He, at the time, primary breadwinner, wife, 4 children, family of 6. He's taking care of everybody. Fast forward a few months in, because he keeps the policy as the man, as the leader of the family, he understood the need for the policy. Healthy man, young, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He had a stroke, y'all. He had a stroke. And his story is actually on YouTube. You can Google Dustin and Kenya Frampton, Frampton. There's a video on YouTube where they are talking about and sharing what happened to him. So she was gone. He was at home with the kids. She called to speak to him, and one of the children was like, "Dad is sleeping." So she says, "Okay." She calls back again. The kids are still like, "Dad is sleeping." And she's like, "Wait a minute. This is a little odd." Ends up rushing home. He had fallen out of bed. He was on the side of the bed. He'd had a stroke. The ambulance, 911 was called. The ambulance came. They found out that he had a stroke. Now, he's the primary breadwinner. It's a family of 6. The wife is a stay-at-home mom. She's kept. And because he had life insurance with living benefits, she was also covered. They were both covered. He had health insurance and all of those things. But as you all know, anybody that has experienced any type of medical issue, medical bills will still come in, right? So medical bills came in, but not only that, he's not making his income. So if he's not making his income, who's taking care of the household? Now, you might be watching this like, well, Jamesia, there's short-term disability. Yes, there is. Individuals do have short-term disability on their jobs. Usually, short-term disability usually pays 66 and 2/3 of your pay. Most people are living check to check. If they can't survive on 100%, how are they going to provide on 66 and 2/3, right? Then people say, well, my job is protected because I have FMLA. FMLA protects your job for 12 weeks. If you have a short-term disability, illness, injury, whatever the case may be, when that 12 weeks runs out of FMLA in that year, you are no longer, your job is no longer protected. There is nothing saying that your employer has to keep you when you are on short-term disability. And I have talked to 2 people already within the last 2 months that were worried about losing their job when they were on short-term disability. But back to Dustin and Kenya Frampton. Because of the life insurance policy that he had, the death benefit that he had, because he had life insurance with living benefits, and I'm talking about term, this could be term life insurance. It could be term life insurance or permanent, but let's just stick with term life insurance. I'm gonna explain living benefits to y'all, okay? If you were on my YouTube channel and you were on the live, I showed a video about living benefits. So if you want to see that video, you would have to go to my YouTube channel, jamesiajohnai, the Wealth Creator, to be able to see this whole video in full and be able to see it later. But the life insurance company sent his family a check for $212,000. Okay. The $212,000 does not take away from the fact that he had a stroke. But what it did do was they didn't have to worry about bills in that moment and how they were going to make ends meet at that time. They were actually able to do a little extra in their household. And I'm pulling up their YouTube video on YouTube because I'm still sharing my screen, so I might as well pull it up. I'm pulling up their YouTube video on my screen just so the people can see it. I'm not going to play it or have the sound on or anything of that nature. But he was happy that he purchased life insurance, and his wife was happy that he purchased that life insurance policy because those living benefits kicked in. So just so y'all know, I'm not making this stuff up. You can Google Dustin and Kenya Frampton and check it out on YouTube. But that $212,000, let's talk about it. It is it's not necessarily life-changing money, but when someone has an illness or an injury, they're the primary breadwinner, income isn't coming in. They didn't have to worry about bills. They were able to focus on his recovery. And that man is walking and he's alive and he's well, right? Another story. Husband, wife comes in, she sits down, they're young, they're in their like late 20s, early 30s, talks about life insurance. She goes home. Husband doesn't think that the life insurance is a good idea. She gets a term life insurance policy on her husband anyway, a term life insurance policy, small death benefit, $100,000. Fast forward 13, and they were paying $27 a month. He was paying $27 a month for the policy. Fast forward 13 months into the policy, that husband had a heart attack. They put in a living benefits claim because he had life insurance with living benefits. The life insurance company cut them a check for $84,000. So when I say, and when the title says, as a wife, you're kept, your husband is paying all the bills, he's the primary breadwinner, you don't have to worry about that. That's great, that's awesome. But are you also covered if, God forbid, your husband has a heart attack, has a stroke, is diagnosed with cancer, just anything happens? And this is not for doom and gloom. I don't want anything to happen to anybody. My father is a colon cancer survivor. He is 76 years old. He battled colon cancer in his 70s and won. But I know somebody like Chadwick Boseman, who was much healthier and active than my father, who unfortunately did not survive that, but a young man, right? So are you kept and covered? Now, how do we make sure we're covered? I'm going to share my screen again because you may be watching this like, oh, we're good. My husband has life insurance on his job. That's great. You're not going to be able to see this on TikTok. You will have to go to my YouTube channel, Jamesia Johnai, the Wealth Creator. But how we figure out an individual's insurable need, one of the shortest ways to do it, an easy, effective way, is utilizing what we call the dime method, right? Should have brought my tripod so I could have turned my screen around. It's called the dime method. What the dime method looks like, wives, ladies that are kept, when you're thinking about your husband or boyfriend that is keeping you, and I'm gonna blow this up on my screen. When you think about your husband that is keeping you, let me make this full screen. How much debt is he in? Unfortunately, if somebody passes away and they have debt, creditors want their money, especially if they leave some sort of assets behind, right? So let's just say I'm gonna make up a number. An individual is $25,000 in debt. Go ahead and drop that in there. The other part of the D is death. Like, how do people want to be remembered? Do they want to Aretha Franklin? Do they want something small? If they say that they want to be buried, I usually estimate about $25,000 for the burial, right? So the purpose of this is if a husband passes away, gets ill, injured, ends up on short-term, long-term disability, will that wife still be kept and covered? Ladies, will you still be kept and covered? Want to make sure you're good. So both of these total $50,000, right? So let's say income. Let's say the husband is making $100,000 a year, right? The rule of thumb usually is 7 times, 5 times, 10 times your income. But if you have children, think about how old your youngest child is. If something were to happen to your husband prematurely, do you want to make sure you and your kids are good to their 18, 21, 25? Think about a Kobe Bryant. When he passed away, him and Vanessa Bryant had just recently had a baby. I don't keep up with these people, so I don't know how old the baby was, but I know the baby was under like 3 years old, right? So he and Vanessa Bryant have this small child, but Vanessa and her children are good, right? Are you going to be like a Vanessa Bryant? Are you going to be good? Or are you going to be like the fiance of a DMX or someone else whose husband or fiance, boyfriend passed away and they were being kept and now they can't be provided for, right? Be sure to press that heart button. Go ahead and engage. If you've made a comment, I can't see not anyone, but you can go ahead and do that, right? And I'll have to check. So let's just do 10 years for kicks and giggles, right? And then, or for example purposes, and that's $1 million, right? Oh my God, $1 million. It's not a big number, I promise it is. Then let's look at mortgage. Let's say there's a mortgage on the home and they owe $300,000 on the home. Let's look at education. Let's say they have one child. You may want to help provide for that child, put that child through college. So I'm gonna put 100,000 there, right? If I total all of this up, the insurable need of this husband would be $1,450,000 if I know how to add, right? How did I get to that? Watching TikTok, the husband, I can't pay the mortgage prank. And one husband told his wife, you good, whether I'm dead or alive. Aha moment, light bulb went off. I said, I need to make a video about this to make sure every kept woman in life will also be kept at the unfortunate passing of her husband. We cannot replace the breadwinner, but we can replace the bread in the household, right? We don't want to have to go get another husband or have to figure out how to get out there and hustle because we've been kept so long and now we got to get up and hustle and still take care of our kids or just hustle if it's just us, right? Go ahead, press that heart button, say hello, drop a comment, something. You can watch this entire video on my YouTube channel, Jamesiajohnai, the Wealth Creator, and I need to wrap this up because my battery is dying on my laptop. So this husband's insurable need is $1.4 million. This need could be met potentially with a term policy by itself, or a term and permanent policy. That simply depends on the budget and affordability of the client, right? My first goal is to help an individual meet their insurable need within their budget. There is a place for term life insurance. I am an agency owner. I am one of very few Black women that own their own insurance agency financial services firm in the United States of America. So if the insurable need is $1.4 million, that could potentially be met with a term policy and could be $100 or less. I just talked to one of my clients. She is 39. She applied for a 1.5. Actually, she applied, no, she ended up doing 1 million. She applied for a $1 million life insurance policy for the next 15 years. We'll revisit it. Her youngest child is like 2. She will be paying $67 a month if she's approved. So it can be affordable for individuals, right? So this is how one would assess insurable need. And I want to make this a little larger, but I guess I can't. I ain't gonna worry about it. This is how one would assess insurable need in a quick way, right? So if you're watching this, I want you to look and see, are you fully covered? Because life insurance on your job, what if I lose my job, then I don't have life insurance? So take a look at your debt. Take a look at, do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be buried? How much income do you have? How many years would you want your income replaced? So let me go over what this 1.45 means. What this 1.45 means is, if in this example, this man were to pass away, his debt would be covered. His wife would be able to funeralize him with dignity. She doesn't need a GoFundMe. GoFundMe is my greatest competition right now. She won't need a GoFundMe. His income will be replaced in the house for 10 years. So the wife can take care of everything in the household peacefully for 10 years. And if she's wise and she calls me, I can show her how to make that last, right? The mortgage can be paid off, so we don't have to think about the mortgage because the mortgage is paid off and there's money left behind for that one child that they may have. Now, flip side of this scenario with the living benefits, because you all saw it, go back and watch it or catch it on my YouTube. If you're just tuning in, definitely want to tune in to go back and watch the beginning. If the husband became ill or injured, he could access up to 90% of the 1.45 million in life if he had a heart attack, stroke, things of that nature, right? Let me pull up my calculator really quickly. I got a little time before it tells me. So if I put 1,450,000 in here and I multiply it by 90%, he could potentially get up to $1.3 million paid out in life. Again, that doesn't take away from whatever may have happened, stroke, cancer, heart attack. It could be Alzheimer's, dementia. There are so many things that fall under the living benefits. I showed you all this video earlier if you're on my YouTube and on the TikTok and you've been on here for the whole time, right? Up to $1.3 million in life. So then if something happens to the husband, his income is replaced in the household. The house could potentially be paid off. And then the wife is figuring out a plan B, what to do. Or if he's able to have those discussions, they're figuring out with this potential, and it's up to, it's not always 90%. So I'm not saying they're going to get the full 1.3 mil, but let's say the husband unfortunately has a stroke or a heart attack, and then the life insurance company cuts them a check for $1.3 million. The husband recovers, and this money is tax free, right? Or it's tax advantages. As long as you keep the policy, you don't close out the policy, as long as you abide by the policy contract and the guidelines of the policy, there is the potential that that money is completely tax free. But if you don't stay within the guidelines and abide by the policy, you might have to pay some taxes, right? I don't want to say nothing crazy out here because people be reporting folks. So that's really it. That's all I have. Let me go look at this YouTube channel, see if anybody came in, drop some comments or anything in the chat here. If not, you could go ahead, comment when you watch the replay on YouTube. Jamesiajohnai, the Wealth Creator. That is my YouTube channel. But are you a kept and covered wife? Like this video, love the video, share the video. My computer is saying my battery it's running low. I'm gone. Ladies, I got another one for you, kept and covered, but we're going to be talking about retirements. But let me go ahead and close this thing on out before my computer shuts down and I haven't eaten today. I am Jamesia Johnai, the Wealth Creator. I show people how to use other people's money to pay their mortgage, create cash flow, generational wealth, and protect their assets. I am on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. On TikTok, I am Jamesia Johnai. On Facebook, on Instagram, it's just Jamesia Johnai. That is my real name. That's my first and my middle name. And on YouTube, I am Jamesia Johnai, the Wealth Creator. There is a link in my bio here on TikTok. Go ahead and follow me. You're watching on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and follow me on TikTok, even though I know it's supposed to be going away in January. But until then, let's stay connected. Have an awesome day. And most importantly, go ahead and book a consultation with me. Let's have a conversation. I'm licensed in Illinois, Georgia, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina, uh, Maryland, Texas, and other states. If you didn't hear your state mentioned, that doesn't mean that I'm not licensed there. And if I'm not licensed in your state, I absolutely can become licensed in your state. If you just want to review the policy that you currently have, we could do that. But let me go ahead and end this. Y'all have an awesome, amazing day.